boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video. So reports is steady coming out of Cleveland that Shedeur Sanders is making profound leaps over Deshaun Watson for that starting position. And as of right now, mandatory meeting camps is underway in Cleveland this week. Hopefully we get some content. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow we're supposed to be hearing from quarterback Deshaun Watson, possibly Shedeur Sanders. But as of right now, neither quarterback has spoken to the media. I'm telling y'all right now, be prepared for a lot of content this week because there is a strong inkling that Todd MONKEN is possibly about to announce the starter. I don't believe he is. I believe Todd MONKEN is not going to announce the starter till probably the first week of the game, bro. That's just my theory. I believe that's possibly could be the case. I think they're going to ride this battle thing all the way out through preseason. They're going to ride it out through training camp, and they're going to keep having us make video after video talking about either Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson being the starter. Now, with some of the latest news coming out about Shedeur, 92 The Fan opened up yesterday. Let's listen.
What Nick said in the previous segment when we played coming back about 2 weeks ago, that's probably where I was with the quarterback battle. And there's something about the last 2 weeks and how Shedeur's, whether it's what MONKEN said, whether it's some of the reports about how Shedeur's looked, and maybe I'm off on this, but I feel like all of a sudden we're back to having an honest quarterback battle.
You're not off, and I'm just trying to figure out if it's because I want it to be an honest quarterback battle, but I don't get the impression you're off. In fact, when Nick was talking, and Nick does this every day, Nick is very plugged in, Nick also focuses on 32 teams. Yeah. And so I was thinking to myself, he's got to update his webpage a little bit, hit the refresh button, and find out where the Browns actually were last week. But then I'm thinking, am I making too much out of a practice where Coach Riz called him a practice MVP or whatever the hell it was? Like, are we putting too much stock into Todd MONKEN's thoughts and commentary on how tough this is actually going to be?
I mean, listen, if we thought there might be a little too much being put into the first three practices of OTAs a month and a half ago, then it probably stands to reason we probably swung the opposite way. And I think it's also fair to say that maybe some of that's informed by the fact you and I would rather do just about anything in 2026.
Just about anything.
Than watch Deshaun Watson play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and so I'm worried. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, are we just off? Does everyone else feel like the comments Todd MONKEN made last week don't really matter, and this is just an end result of Deshaun Watson? He'll be your quarterback week one, and it was always destined to be this.
Or I think what we can do is we can strike all of that from the record because it kind of cancels itself out, and then go back to what I think is ultimately the best question you can ask yourself if you're the Cleveland Browns about the quarterback position, because it's between what is best, what gives me the best chance to win. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the two questions. And then the second one is what actually has long-term viability if it works out.
Right.
And I think one of those is definitively Shedeur, and the other one gets decided in weeks like this week.
Oh, and that's why I've been saying for months, it's like tie goes to Shedeur. It's not even close. Like if it's got to be, if we're within a win or two as far as your prognostications in that building between what Deshaun and Shedeur can do, you have to just give it to Shedeur and see what he can do first.
I think what's interesting about last week's reports and MONKEN's comments and 6 weeks ago's reports is I have very little interest in one half of this quarterback battle, and yet I'm not willing to basically give up on 2026. And I think the Jared Verse inclusion of the Miles trade proves that even if they don't have all their eggs in the basket of 2026, they're not either.
No, but I feel like you're watching for different things then. Mm-hmm. So like when we ask how invested in the quarterback battle are you, it's a quarterback battle in Cleveland. We're going to be invested. Obviously, if you're listening to this right now, you're invested to a degree. But how much of this season for a lot of people is just watching the young kids versus watching Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders actually play football?
I mean, this goes back to the win-win situation for the Browns. If the young guys play well this year and you're a 3-win team, cool. You just added a quarterback to that quarterback room. If the young guys play well, and this is a 8, 9, 10-win team, even a 7-win team, and let's say it's driven by Shedeur, you're in a really good spot where I think people are going to start to believe in what you're doing here. And, oh, by the way, you can still trade up for a quarterback if you want. Now, the downside is the Deshaun thing. I think that's where I am with this. Like, if Shedeur wins, I'm going to go into the season with hope that he can prove people like Nick, who called him a career backup, wrong. And that whatever playmaking, which is the thing that I just haven't seen a lot of that from late-round picks or underdog quarterbacks, fourth man in the room, that have played late in the season for the Browns over the last 26 years. Shedeur showed me more of that than I've ever seen of any other quarterback in that spot. That's the thing that I'm holding on hope to. So I'm hoping that Todd Monken has plugged into that and just gotten more consistency out of him. Whereas with Deshaun, I'm going to be plugged in saying, all right, prove me wrong, dude.
Okay, but you see, you have a different approach to it than I do. You're taking the prove me wrong approach to it with Deshaun. I'm at two different extremes here. If Shedeur's the starter, and the problem with this is that we're probably not going to find out until, I don't know, a week before, 2 weeks before, whatever that ends up being. And so we're taking this right up to the limit here. If Shedeur's the starter, I'm going to be locked in and excited about what 2026 can be. If Deshaun's the starter, I'll be excited to watch the young kids and a lot of these young players, but I mean, the season will be shot, in my opinion. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. There's a lot of cool things to discuss, but I have zero belief in Deshaun Watson being a good quarterback.
I don't have a lot of belief in it, and even then, I think it opens up a lot of questions that I don't think any of us really want to answer. But I'm still giving enough room that I'm wrong on this. I mean, I'll just about Deshaun specifically.
I'm just, and maybe I need to budge off that. I haven't seen anything that tells me I need to, though, yet. And maybe it'll be us in training camp seeing it firsthand. I just have a hard time thinking until games are played, there's anything he can do that would change my assessment.
I think you and I are on that last part. We're going to be, I have to see it in regular season games, and I have to see it in successive games to go ahead and start to being able to put if he has one good game the first week and they beat Jacksonville, that's not enough for me to say I was wrong. It needs to be like the entire month of September before we get to that conversation.
And even then, I'd still be sitting there and saying, I'm waiting for him to get injured.
Yes.
So it's going to be week 12 or something? Like if he gets past a spot he never has gotten past in a Browns uniform?
Trade deadline packed. Honesty packed.
No, because even then I'll be like, so he's inching towards the spot where he'll play more games than he's ever played in a season for the Browns. Like I can't buy it. I can't buy it. I'll just be counting down until Shedeur gets to play.
But I'm just not. I understand that eventually we're going to get to 2027, and the goal is, if you get it, that you land one of the preeminent quarterbacks next year. And so I understand that that's the goal. But right now, guys, I'm in 2026. And the whole, I want to do mock drafts in October. No, I lived that for the first 10 years of my career here. I don't really love that. That gets old very quickly. It got old last year as well. And by the way, I was the guy that was team win. I think this is why I really enjoy Todd Monken, is because I think that guy, in all cases, if the choice is, well, we got to think about the record, we got to think about the quarterback in 2027 or win, I think he's going to err on the side of winning.
I know, but that conversation's going to be a bloodbath for us.
Why?
Because I'll be rooting for losses if there really is an Arch Manning there.
Not for me. I'm sorry, and I understand. I understand the long-term thinking that goes into that.
If it's not Shedeur, if it's Deshaun is what I'm saying. If it's Shedeur, it's different. If it's Shedeur, that's a different convo. If you have a real chance to have somebody that could be your long-term quarterback, I want to see him win. I want to see him do the best he can. If it's Deshaun and it's week 10 and they're 3-7 and they're not even giving a chance to Shedeur, bring on the losses.
No, I want Deshaun too.
Get me Arch Manning at that point.
Sorry, I want to be very clear about that. I'll still want Deshaun to succeed. Because it's just losing is so miserable. It ends up like some of the tailgates, and Browns fans are so great to have the right attitude with this kind of stuff. But like when you're out there and it's 5 degrees and it's like December 14th, and you've got these diehards who are going to the game because they put money that they don't have into that team, and to then be like, so they should lose on purpose today, right? and by the way, that's the extreme version of it. Texting my friends being like, man, I kind of hope. No, I hate that crap. I do. Even though because here's the thing, they've also engineered these situations in my life where I've watched this happen, and then they still haven't pulled it off.
Well,
there's just no guarantee that it's going to be paid off.
Not pulled it off, but even you still got Myles Garrett out of having the number 1 overall pick. You know what I mean? Like, there's still been generational players that we've gotten because they did what they were. Well, there was just no quarterback that year. Well, there was quarterbacks that year. They didn't know Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes. That was the problem in that.
Deshaun, in fairness,
they actually set it up for Mahomes, Deshaun, and Trubisky, is who they would have ended up taking, oddly enough, and that would have been a disaster.
Well, but even Deshaun was they gave Houston the pick that became Deshaun Watson.
Right. No, they could have done it.
Yeah. But I guess
they
wanted it or didn't want it, depending on when you've talked to Hugh.
I think, oddly enough, kind of like how they were, if they would have entered last year, where they just kind of thought they were 2 seasons away instead of 1 season away. That was kind of their mentality at the time.
Maybe they should stop deciding how many years they are away.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way,
tough.
the Baker thing would have worked out if they just never traded Baker. 216-474-0092. How invested are you in the quarterback battle? I think the other factor here is, I think if anyone can do anything, any one of the 4 quarterbacks, I honestly don't even care who it is. If any of them could do anything, they've got the situation. They've got the situation around them that they didn't last year, and that they really haven't since this organization's been unable to replace Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, or Nick Chubb. And I'm not even talking about just the offense. I think defensively, I think you've got enough players that if you just get a C-plus effort from the quarterback spot in totality, I think you're going to be fun to watch this year.
I think there'll be they'll be interesting regardless for us, I would imagine, because if it's Shedeur or Deshaun Watson, I'll have strong opinions either way. I'm going to either be rooting really hard for Shedeur, and I'm not rooting against Deshaun. There's no part of me that thinks it's going to work. And so we're at least stuck in an interesting spot.
216-474-0092.
Will be incredibly boring to everybody else across the NFL, but will be interesting to us.
I don't know. Like, again, if the Browns are a 7-win team with Shedeur this year, I think you're going to get people starting to pay attention to him because he's going to have to play reasonably well. And I do think there are more people ready to line up to be like, I told you this is what they thought they could be with Deshaun if Deshaun is even tangibly okay.
It'll be we'll have to wait and see because Nick, there's no world that exists where Deshaun Watson's good at quarterback to me. How many times can I say that?
Are you telling me we got to see this play out?
I'm saying everybody else has to see this play out because I don't need to see this play out. I think I know where this is going.